Welcome to the Weather Guru podcast for June 21st, 2023. This is your tropical storm update on Tropical Storm Bret, which is now a medium grade tropical storm with winds of 65 miles an hour. It is continuing its fast motion, and as you can see, convective activity has increased to the north and the northeast of the system, of the center of circulation here. As you can see, Barbados and the Lesser Antilles is in view. It's a couple hundred miles east, but it's making steady progress here, an infrared satellite loop. Once again, Tropical Storm Bret is not the only game in town out in the mid-Atlantic and the far Atlantic. Right now, we have another system behind it. It will become an invest coming up shortly by tomorrow, at 80 to 90% chance of development in the next 7 days of this disturbance behind Bret. The next name on the list will be Cindy, and this one very well would be Cindy coming up shortly, probably by Thursday night. We will have Cindy on our hands as well. But back to Bret. Bret is going to expected to remain a tropical storm as it passes by somewhere between St. Lucia, Martinique, and Barbados. As it makes its beeline approach, there will be gusty winds, at times gusting to hurricane force in these conditions, as well as steady rain, bringing up to 3 to 6 inches of rainfall in some of the mountainous terrains of Dominica and Martinique as well. So in St. Lucia and all these islands. But the good news is it's a fast mover. The movement has slowed down a bit. It's now west at 15 miles an hour. If you remember yesterday, it was up as fast as 21 miles an hour. But the pressure has come down and strengthening has come with the system. And so let's look at the 8 p.m. advisory, intermediate advisory. The next advisory coming out will be at 11 p.m. And as you can see, the system could possibly reach minimal hurricane status as it approached the islands, but then weaken quickly after getting past on Friday to a tropical storm. It's not out of the question yet. There's heavy wind shear coming out of the west and southwest, affecting the system throughout much of its path in the Caribbean. So it's going to stay south of the islands, but there will be impacts felt outside of the cone. So you can expect heavy rains in Puerto Rico, Dominica, Hispaniola, and on through Jamaica as it traverses into the Caribbean Sea here. So you can expect some gusty winds. Nothing to tropical storm force in Puerto Rico, I don't think, or in Dominican Republic. That's going to stay out to sea, given the storm radius of winds as currently projected. But you never know. But still, there is already tropical storm watches and warnings. Tropical storm watches in effect for the Barbados, the Lesser Antilles, Dominica, Martinique, Anguilla, some of those islands down there, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, etc. These are some of the islands that will be affected by this system. It's going to be a strong tropical storm with winds anywhere between 65 to 70 miles an hour, possibly getting to minimal hurricane strength before weakening to a tropical storm. It all depends on how much the wind shear continues to be entrained within this system. So once again, the main impacts of this is going to be a heavy rain event, but like I said, it's moving very quickly. It's still a pretty good clip, and so it's not going to be as bad as previously thought. However, mudslides and flooding is still, a concern, of course. Obviously, if you're east of the center, in that northeast quadrant or in the southeast quadrant, the southwest quadrant, as the system traverses through these islands. So that's just the cone. I want to show you some other things here. This is some of the key messages here from the National Hurricane Center. As you can see, it's going to move across those islands late Thursday and tomorrow night as a strong tropical storm. So winds around 65, 70 miles an hour. But it's just not a time to be out there because you're going to have gusty winds, rainfall, and dangerous battering waves along the coast. So that's what we have right now. So Barbados and Dominica already have that tropical storm watch. A warning, a tropical storm warning is in effect for St. Lucia and Martinique, and that's where the islands are going to be coming in. It's a quick mover. That's one of the blessings. And you look at the wind field, the wind history here. It's a pretty compact storm here. Tropical storm force winds look like it only extends out right now about maybe 50 to 100 miles. We can check that here for you here in the navigational system here. And right now the pressure's down, like I said, to 1,000 millibars. And the next advisory is going to come at 11 p.m. So tropical storm force winds only extend out about 105 miles from the center, especially to the north of the center. So there we go, just as I was saying. So once again, looking at the structure looks pretty impressive, but you can see it's fighting that dry air to the west and northwest of the system. and it's getting entrained in the system here. If you look in here, you can see the structure there. The center is over here, but you can see this, most of the cloud tops, coldest cloud tops, are blown to the north and west of the center. So the center is actually exposed down here, as you can see the surface, along with deep convection to the east and northeast, of course, of the system. So most of the convection is pushed north of the center, as you can see in this photograph here. Here is the center exposed. Most of the convection is north and northwest of the center and along the east flank of the center, wrapping around. But the dry air, as you can see, has gotten entrained into this. Not the dry air. Yeah, the dry air and the wind shear both have gotten entrained into the system from the west here and the southwest, and that's eroding away. Now, if the wind shear laxes into later on next week, then we could be looking at, a hurricane possibly. But if not, as it continues on, then the system will continue on as a strong tropical storm. Now, let's look at the other basin here, courtesy of Tropical Tidbits here, the Atlantic wide view. I just want to show you Cindy that's going to be coming up here, as well as a Delta, a D-name storm that's going to be coming up here as well. And so we're going to also have a D-name storm here that's going to be coming up next week, by next week Thursday. And I want to pause it here if I can. Let me pause it here for you. Here we go. Okay, you see Bret is here. Okay, you see Bret. And then you also see Cindy that's coming up here tomorrow night. They're going to name that Cindy. And then this wave right here, this wave coming off right here could possibly be the next invest area that we have to watch. Right now, it looks to go disorganized. Looks like a very disorganized wave. But once it gets past this area and moving closer to where Bret and Cindy are, then we have to watch it. So we have plenty of days to watch that. The Caribbean Basin, the rest of it looks absolutely quiet. The Gulf of Mexico looks quiet as this trough is digging down in, and hot weather and explosive thunderstorms in the Texas area after having 100-degree heat in Houston, Austin, Red Hills, San Antonio, and all those areas. They got explosive thunderstorms coming in with this digging trough here that's been keeping the Gulf of Mexico quiet here. And also out in the Atlantic Basin, and it's pretty quiet too as well. There's some scattered, disorganized showers here. So that's what we're looking to as well. Elsewhere in the basin, everything looks calm. And now in the Eastern Pacific Basin, there is nothing going on right now, ladies and gentlemen. We can definitely take a check on that here at the National Hurricane Center here, but nothing is going on in the Eastern Pacific Basin, so they're quiet, which is unusual. And the Central Basin out toward Hawaii is quiet as well. So this has been the tropical update for June 21st, 2023. Please be sure to subscribe to the Weather Guru channel, and we'll bring you the latest interpretation as it becomes available. Thank you very much. Have a great day.